Well, thank you so much. It's great to be back in Houston with so many friends and to have an opportunity to participate in the Planned Parenthood annual meeting. I have to tell you that it was a great privilege when I was told that I would receive this award. I admire Margaret Sanger enormously. Her courage, her tenacity, her vision. Another of my great friends, Ellen Chesler, is here, who wrote a magnificent biography of Margaret Sanger called Woman of Valor. And when I think about what she did all those years ago in Brooklyn, I am really in awe of her. And there are a lot of lessons that we can learn from her life and from the cause she launched and fought for and sacrificed so greatly.
Good evening. What you're about to witness is an unrehearsed, uncensored interview on the issue of birth control. It will be a free discussion of an adult topic, a topic that we feel merits public examination. Tonight we go after the story of the woman who violated convention and bucked powerful opposition to lead the birth control movement in America. You see her behind me. She is Mrs. Margaret Sanger, who was thrown into jail 8 different times for her efforts. If you're curious to know why Mrs. Sanger has devoted her life to the birth control movement, we'll go after those stories in just a moment. Mrs. Sanger, you have helped to spread the birth control movement not only here in the United States, but in Europe and the Orient as well. Why? Why is birth control of such vital importance internationally? Is it just to save women suffering? Is that the only reason in your mind?
Well, not entirely. The population question is a great concern today, and the rate, we're saving them now. At one time, when children died, they didn't have the food. I think the birth control, well, if you keep your population more or less static until you pick up your resources, certainly you'll prevent their starving.
Well, what's more important, birth control or picking up the resources?
Well, picking up the resources, there's just a limit to that, too.
The eugenic and civilization value of birth control is becoming apparent to the enlightened and the intelligent. The campaign for birth control is not merely of eugenic value, but is practically identical in ideal with the final aim of eugenics. Margaret Sanger, 1921.
In her autobiography, Margaret Sanger wrote about a speech she gave in 1926 at a Ku Klux Klan rally in Silver Lake, New Jersey. The Planned Parenthood founder bragged about the fact that afterward, she was invited by 12 other Klan chapters to speak at their events.
At about the same time the American Birth Control League was changing its name to Planned Parenthood, a lot of books and reports began coming out that attempted to put a happy face on eugenics. And many of them were written by people that were associated with Planned Parenthood. The strategy here was obvious. Since the Nazis had turned eugenics into a 4-letter word, the American eugenics movement decided it was time to lay low. So most of their writings during this time period downplayed the role of eugenics and couched their agenda in terms of helping the African American. Perhaps the best example of this is a 1,500-page book by eugenicist Gunnar Myrdal called An American Dilemma, The Negro Problem in Modern Democracy.
Commonly, it is considered a great misfortune for America that Negro slaves were ever imported. The presence of Negroes in America today is usually considered a plight of the nation. Chapter 7, page 167. All white Americans agree that if the Negro is to be eliminated, he must be eliminated slowly, so as not to hurt any living individual Negroes. Chapter 7, page 168. The only way possible of decreasing Negro population is by means of controlling fertility. Chapter 7, page 170. Birth control facilities could be extended relatively more to Negroes than to whites, since Negroes are more concentrated in the lower income and education classes. Chapter 7, page 176.
So that's where, you know, so even if they lie, just say, oh, he's the same age as me, 15, you know, so like if they're 15, it's just like mainly 14 and under, we have to, doesn't matter. If their partner's the same age, younger, whatever, 14 and under, we have to report.
14 under. That includes being 14, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
14, you know, once they get to 15, then there's a little bit more playroom. So as long as they just lie and say, oh, he's 15, 16, you know, as long as they don't say 14, and as long as it's not too much of an age gap, then we just kind of like, play.
What if they do say they're 14?
Well, you know, then from there, it's just really watching what they say.
What if they need an abortion, though?
Oh, that's a completely different story now.
Oh.
Now, if they're this is more just for testing and stuff.
Oh,
like that.
okay.
We need to know a little bit.
Yeah, if they come in for pregnancy testing, at that point, it still needs to be. You never got this from me, just to make all of our lives easier.
Okay.
If they're 14 and under, just send them right there if they need an abortion. Okay.
Let me start by asking this question. Is this an isolated incident that we just saw here on the screen, or is this the way Planned Parenthood operates?
This is a common occurrence for Planned Parenthood, unfortunately. This is something that many women are subjected to the cover-ups of Planned Parenthood and the tweaking of information that, you know, they try to scrub their charts. And unfortunately, this is something that is very common, even something that we experienced at my own clinic.
Now, since this video has been released, Planned Parenthood has fired that director that we just saw in this video clip, claiming this was an isolated incident. But Lila, even the video released today suggests that, as Abby was saying, this is not isolated.
Yeah, we have a second video out that shows a second worker, even though this was supposedly isolated according to Planned Parenthood, working with the sex traffickers, again, of the underage girls to find ways to skirt Virginia law to get them the abortion. So, I mean, Abby, what are your thoughts? Have you watched the videos?
Let's take a look at that clip.
Okay.
Let's look at that clip from Virginia, and then Abby, I'd like to get your thoughts on that.
Okay, the part of it, though, is some of the girls, they're around like 14, 15, and some of the girls are from like out of state, out of country. They don't know about the facilities. They don't know how to get help. I don't even know how to do it. So, like, what are your, like,
Are they
teen
illegally
services?
here, or are they legally resident?
Some of them don't have, like, their residency yet or something like that. But, like, how do you guys have teen service and stuff like that?
I mean, we can give them the same information. The only thing that requires a legal guardian is an abortion.
Okay.
I mean, you can get birth control testing, like anything without a parent. The only thing that requires over 18, if they're a minor, is an abortion. But there's also ways like judicial bypasses we can get around that. If you guys ever need it, there is a way to avoid that.
Well, again, how commonplace is this? I mean, we're hearing the same language.
It's very common. I listened to this. I watched this video earlier today, and I thought, these are probably words that I may have said myself. It's words that I definitely heard other people say inside of Planned Parenthood. They will do anything. They will encourage anyone to have an abortion. They will coerce anyone into having an abortion.
That's pretty strong language. And the evidence is beginning to suggest that that is in fact what's taking place here.
Can you tell us more about minors going to the clinics facing abortion decisions, whether they're coming from situations of abuse or even trafficking, the kinds of situations you've seen with maybe minors coming to the clinic and their positions of vulnerability and what that looks like when abortion is being considered and encouraged even by Planned Parenthood?
Yeah, minors are frequently encouraged to have abortions. Minors are actually the most vulnerable targets. They are the easiest to sell on abortions. And, you know, we are all good salespeople at Planned Parenthood, and that is our job. And with Planned Parenthood and their quotas and, you know, us trying to increase the amount of abortions, it's required. And in fact, Planned Parenthood just recently put out a statement that says every Planned Parenthood affiliate must be an abortion-providing affiliate by 2013. This is going against what their stated mission is, that they want to make abortion safe, legal, and rare. The only thing that we have right now is that it is legal.
Does it appear then that this willingness to cover up sexual abuse in the pursuit of an abortion trying to get that abortion. Do you think those two things are related?
Absolutely. Planned Parenthood is a safe haven for people who are trying to abuse girls and even minor women.
Well, Abby, that's some explosive stuff there that tracks right along with the footage that Live Action has been able to obtain.
One of the places where government money has been used to advance the eugenics agenda has been in the public school system. Although government-funded population control programs can be found in white schools, the evidence is that they are significantly more likely to be targeted at black schools.
One example of this was seen in 1986, when it was discovered that Illinois public schools were not only distributing birth control to children, but that every one of the 50 facilities involved were in minority neighborhoods. When this information was made public, a local African-American pastor organized a campaign to stop the program. Reverend Hiram Crawford labeled the project genocide, saying that the obvious goal was to go after the Hispanic and black population.
That same pattern was also found in Maryland in the 1990s. Even though the state's teen pregnancy rate was higher among white students than black students, when the contraceptive device Norplant was introduced, it was selectively marketed to children as young as 13 in predominantly black schools in Baltimore. The result was that of the first 350 girls implanted at a local middle school, 345 were African American. Then, when Norplant was approved for general distribution, of the first 100 schools selected, all 100 were in minority neighborhoods.
The Norplant contraception device was developed by the Population Council in New York, which had been established in 1952 under the leadership of its president, John Rockefeller. Its next two presidents, Frederick Osborne and Frank Notestein, were both former members of the American Eugenics Society, and Notestein would later serve on the National Advisory Council of Planned Parenthood. Since 1973, legal abortion has killed more African Americans than AIDS, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and violent crime combined. Every week, more blacks die in American abortion clinics than were killed in the entire Vietnam War. And the largest chain of abortion clinics in the United States is operated by Planned Parenthood.
We have now reached a point in this country that African American women, though they make up 12% of the population, they account for 37% of the abortions. An African American baby is almost 5 times more likely to be aborted than a white child. The abortion industry at this point kills as many African American people every 4 days as the Klan killed in 150 years. And you can truly say the most dangerous place for an African American to be is in the womb of their African American mother.
Birth control and abortion are turning out to be the great eugenic advances of our time. Frederick Osborne, founding member of the American Eugenics Society, 1973.
The best way to hate a nigger is to hate him before he is born. Leander Perez, Louisiana State Judge, 1970.
Another of my great friends, Ellen Chesler, is here, who wrote a magnificent biography of Margaret Sanger called Woman of Valor. And when I think about what she did all those years ago in Brooklyn, I am really in awe of her. And there are a lot of lessons that we can learn from her life and from the cause she launched and fought for and sacrificed so greatly.
Question. After rolling in hundreds of millions of tax dollars while claiming to cater to the poor, why would the nation's largest abortion chain shift attention to the more affluent? Seeing the writing on the wall, Planned Parenthood knows full well that it's no longer a matter of if, but when it's cut from government funding. And when that happens, Planned Parenthood hopes its wealthier client base will maintain its already grotesque profit line. Calling itself the lens crafters of family planning, Planned Parenthood is looking to scale up its image by opening in shopping malls where young, middle to upper class women can pick up their decaf no-sugar mocha lattes while waiting for the results of an STD test. But regardless of Planned Parenthood's focus on birth control, pregnancy tests, and breast exams, its primary mission is to kill more babies for more money. You see, it's all about marketing.
And, you know, we are all good salespeople at Planned Parenthood, and that is our job. And with Planned Parenthood and their quotas and, you know, us trying to increase the amount of abortions, it's required.
But regardless of Planned Parenthood's focus on birth control, pregnancy tests, and breast exams, its primary mission is to kill more babies for more money. You see, it's all about marketing, and the proof is in the numbers. Over the past 20 years, the number of abortions performed nationally has steadily declined. However, the number of abortions performed by Planned Parenthood has more than tripled. The reason is simple. When birth control fails, the logical next step for a Planned Parenthood customer is abortion, and Planned Parenthood knows it. And while the nation's largest abortion chain seeks to upgrade its image, even the Wall Street Journal can see through the smoke. The headline and opening paragraph on the front page of their June 23rd edition says it all. Extending the brand. Planned Parenthood hits suburbia. Abortion provider goes upscale. Aid for poor questioned. Flush with cash, Planned Parenthood affiliates nationwide are aggressively expanding their reach, seeking to woo more affluent patients with a network of suburban clinics and huge new health centers that project a decidedly upscale image. You can put lipstick on a pig, but guess what? It's still a pig. And no matter how much makeup Planned Parenthood cakes on, the fact remains that they're a business raking in cash by killing babies for profit.
An African American baby is almost 5 times more likely to be aborted than a white child. The abortion industry at this point kills as many African American people every 4 days as the Klan killed in 150 years. And you can truly say the most dangerous place for an African American to be is in the womb of their African American mother.
Birth control and abortion are turning out to be the great eugenic advances of our time. Frederick Osborne, founding member of the American Eugenics Society, 1973.
The best way to hate a nigger is to hate him before he is born. Leander Perez, Louisiana State Judge, 1970.
Because all we have to do to win this war is survive. Let me say it again. Every time you make a baby, you're making a weapon.
Come on.
Every time you make a baby, you making a weapon. Yeah, what y'all gonna do? They come down on us with the AR-15s and they whoop them in, quit worshiping their weapons. I mean, yeah, we gonna be ready. You know what I'm talking about? But that's not the most powerful weapon that we have. You'll never outgun the gunner. You're not gonna outgun him. But one thing you do way better than he do, reproduce and spread. You do that way better. So let's not neglect our strengths because we're trying to shore up our challenges. I'm just saying, encouraging y'all to go make a baby, but I love African life, you know what I'm saying? If you're in a relationship and y'all ready to be parents, come what y'all waiting on. Come on. Bring them babies. No, we need them. Say it, we need more babies? Yes, sir. Huh? We need more babies. We ain't on no Chinese population control program. We need some babies. Why you think they want to put AIDS, keep AIDS in your community? Because they don't want you to have babies. Why you think they trying to feed you all this food and make you impotent and sterile? Because they don't want you to have babies. That's why it's so cheap to get an abortion.
Yeah.
Because they don't want you to have babies. Your most powerful weapon is you. That's our most powerful weapon. They ain't got enough bullets to get rid of all of us. Government officials conspiring on a project so horrible it is hard to believe it happened in our country and not that long ago. We have a story here tonight about cruelty in the name of science and about the government in effect trying to play God.
Buried in the stillness of this place, it seems time has forgotten a secret shame.
It was sort of a hush-hush type of thing, and the records and files were all hidden away down in a basement locked under a key.
Until this past summer, when the ugly truth about what happened here and in towns all across North Carolina could be hidden no more.
If there's anyone in this room that's too embarrassed to tell your story, don't be. Tell it. It needs to be told, and you need to tell it all.
There were a lot of stories that shocked those in the room that day. Stories of shame, confusion, grief. But one story, one single story, seemed to rise above the rest.